Yo, what's up guys? Casino Riv, and we're back again with another video. It's been a really long time since I've done another YouTube video of sorts. I'm gonna keep trying to keep going at it. The only key is consistency, so I'm gonna keep at it, and we're gonna get started with today. And today I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I've been meaning to talk about for some time now, especially for people that are just getting into fashion, or maybe not are inside fashion at all, but would like to go and participate in this whole scene. So when people hear about the word fashion, right, a lot of people think about the clothes themselves or just about the pricing. And you see people that are wearing like these fucking $1,000 hoodies and shit. And it's not really just about that. There are people that are into those more superficial qualities, I guess you can say. But there's this whole other scene that's right there in front of your eyes. And I just want to talk to you guys about how fashion itself can benefit you, not just in terms of like the clothes you wear or your appearance, but like how it can affect you culturally, how it can affect you socially, and how it can affect you creatively. So let's go right into it. Since the dawn of time, clothing has had like inherent amount of cultural value instilled into them. And this can like range from anything from maybe like a skateboard tee to a more historical piece or military garment. Every single type of clothing represents a different type of lifestyle behind it. And as you get deeper into fashion, you're able to kind of consume yourself into that specific type of culture, delve deeper, and have like a richer understanding of the culture behind the clothing themselves. I'm going to show you a really quick example of this type of garment I'm talking to you guys about. So right over here, I have a capital Boro denim jacket. And as you can see, it's completely torn apart, but it's all purposeful, really. And there's a really crazy story behind it, and it has a lot of cultural potency as well. So I would say that maybe in the 1900s or the late 1800s or so, what happened in Japan is that the working class, instead of buying completely new different types of clothing, they would actually have these fabrics, and then they would stitch the fabrics onto the existing article of clothing in order to preserve it for long periods of time. And this would in turn kind of bring a more distressed aesthetic to the garment. When you see this jacket itself, like just on its own, without knowing the prior history of it, you already know that it's like such a sick piece. It's like so much distressing, so many details throughout. But then once you find out the cultural references that are behind the piece, then it really makes you start to appreciate it and kind of almost see the world in a different way, or in a different lens as well. And this applies to almost every type of garment that you come across. I'm going to give you guys one more example, and this kind of pertains more to my personal experience of going into fashion. So I don't know if you guys know, but there's this really sick brand called Undercover. I first discovered them when they had their collaboration with Supreme, I believe in around 2014 or so. It was like the first collaboration. But through that, I was able to kind of discover Undercover and then really get into their own clothing themselves. And this is where I really went into an almost downward spiral. Not really downwards, like an upward spiral. And really kind of understand the philosophy behind Undercover. So by going deeper and deeper into the research of Undercover and its origins, its cultural potency, its aesthetics, I was able to get like an even better understanding of the punk subculture, and also kind of apply it to my own lifestyle as well, whether it be by making videos such as these or being more entrepreneurial in a way and being more self-sustaining. And this really does benefit your life in so many different ways, but you really have to be able to kind of focus in and hone in on that type of aspect when it comes to fashion in order to really gain the benefits. So one of the things that happens when you go ahead and take over that territory that is fashion, you're going to have people that might think that you're trying to culturally appropriate some of the cultures that go behind the clothing. Don't really pay any mind to that. It's not really their issue. It's more about your own journey when it comes to delving into fashion and understanding yourself from this genre. By wearing like different types of clothing and by kind of immersing yourself into like these different types of lifestyles, you're really going to be able to get a better understanding of who you are, what fits you, how you can move throughout this world in your own way and in your own genuine way. We're going to go ahead and go to the next one, which is the social aspect to fashion. So when it comes to the social aspects of fashion, there are a lot of pros and cons alike. Today we're going to talk about the pros, but maybe the cons in the near future. So let's go ahead and talk about the pros right now. And I would think that the one that stands out the most is like the sense of community that comes with being involved in the fashion scene. So when it comes to being involved in the fashion community, there's like a really genuine feeling of kind of belonging, I guess you can say. We really share these like-minded or these very similar passions between each other, whether it be through Instagram or forums or chats such as Discord and whatnot. There is really that sense of belonging and being able to share this same passion together, and it's very hard to be able to articulate this in a very accurate way, but you just have to be able to dip your feet and go right into it, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Of course, there are always going to be individuals in the community that might be a little bit toxic per se, or even maybe elitist too, which is kind of a shame. But again, just try to pay no mind. It's not really about that. In the end, it's really about being able to share that passion just as you would share the passion of music with others as well. It really adds so much more value to your life. And I really don't know where I would be where I wouldn't have fashion. We talk about that later. Yeah. So last but not least, we have how fashion can affect your life from a creative standpoint. So one way in which it can affect you creatively would be through the use of self-expression, which is like the most evident. I know, it's like super obvious, but at the same time, there's a lot more nuance that goes into it. So for example, maybe you have a more preppy look when you first start out, and then you realize that you really have an affinity towards the Palace, Supreme, that type of streetwear look. And so you go ahead and buy a few pieces and you add that on to your style that you already have. And that almost like evolves yourself, not just in terms of the way that you look, but the way that you perceive the world as well. Because you have this more nuanced type of aesthetic, you're able to take in these different types of art forms and you're able to see them in a different light. And because of this, you're able to really, again, hone in on the aesthetic of your choosing, and you're able to really grow creatively, not just in terms of creating different types of art forms, whether it be art or graphic design, etc., but in the different sense of creativity through the use of growth and self-growth. One more way in which it can improve your life at a creative level would be through the use of entrepreneurship. So for example, right, there can be modeling, there can be graphic design, there can be video work, there can be YouTube videos like this one. What I'm trying to really get at is that fashion is kind of like a medium in which all different types of art forms really intersect in. I'm just going to use myself as an example. Before I even started doing fashion, I was really into doing graphic design and like 3D work back in high school, those days. And then once I started getting into fashion, that really put me back into this whole field. So I had fashion, and then I started making like editorials, whether it be just for Instagram or just for myself. So I've gotten to the point where I've actually made this publication called Archivegasm. You guys probably haven't seen this yet for those who follow me on Instagram, but you're going to very soon. Anyways, when it comes to this, Archivegasm is kind of like a publication that I made in order to kind of showcase the individuals that are behind the scene that is archive fashion, and really going into not just the clothing, but the people themselves and the editorials and also interviews, as well as all original content. And I'm really hyped to see this go into the public eye. What I'm really trying to get at is that fashion really can make you become more creatively driven, be able to make you aspire towards who you want to be at a creative level, and really kind of hone in on yourself, not just in terms of the skills that you have, but also the person that you want to become as well. So all in all, those are those three aspects that I believe can help benefit you when it comes to going into fashion, whether it be through the cultural aspects of the fashion and the clothing themselves, the social aspects of being into the community and involving yourself, and whether it be through the whole creative level, through being able to hone in on your creative skills and become the person that you want to become. So if you're not already into this whole realm that is fashion, you're going to eventually find yourself going deeper and deeper into the community and into all these different aspects that I've been talking to you about for today. But at the end of the day, it's all on you to be able to make that push to go deeper into it. And trust me, I can almost promise you that you're going to find it completely worth it. Thank you so much for watching. It really does mean a lot that you're watching this video. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, not just physical effort, but like emotional effort to be in front of the camera to do this. So thanks so much for watching. I'm going to be making a new video or a separate video in the near future talking about the more cons when it comes to fashion. So whether it be through social status that we talked about earlier, or whether it be through the whole superficiality. But we're gonna see how that goes, and stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe to this channel to find more future videos. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at casino_riv. That's where I really go and make the own original content. I really didn't say that right. That's where I go ahead and make my own original content, whether it be through editorials, whether it be through posts, you know, all that good stuff. And for the archive Gasm zine too, make sure to stay updated on that on Instagram. And make sure to like this video if you liked it, dislike if you didn't like it. It's all good, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.